back to the Foreign Report, your weekly geopolitics show that gives you all the gory details around the foreign policy happening around the world with hopefully some laughs along the way.
We'll try.
I'm Sina Gaznavi, your foreign policy curious host, and our co-host Travis Irvine, comedian, director, Columbia Journalism School grad. Thank God you put the hat back on.
I've read the comments. Unlike you, I do read the comments.
On the comments that I didn't read, I did read that they were upset you didn't have the hat on. They didn't even
said
believe you.
I was no longer a Columbia Journalism School graduate without that hat. So I have tossed away my Henry Zabrowski I Know What I Saw hat.
Did you buy that?
No, I got it from Henry.
Okay, so you threw it away. That's
Yeah.
fine. That's fine.
I gave it to a homeless guy.
Sign up for our newsletter, foreignreportshow.com. We put out a little newsletter with give you some updates between when we record the show and what's happening, and a little bit of a Cena corner, a little bit of a Travis corner. So we love that. We also want you to be within our little community. It's very nice. If you want to send us an email, theforeignreportlpn@gmail.com. Send us a voice memo. We'd love to hear what you think. If you also want to just send us a voice memo of you crying in the closet about how awful everything is, totally acceptable as well.
I feel the comments do that as well.
They
for us.
do. They
It's
do
the
that.
version of a voice memo.
I'm going to just tell you right now, I didn't read the comments and I read the comments. So get ready for a really exciting show.
Great.
Wait, but I did want to tell you. Wait, I did want to tell you something.
About the comments?
No, I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning today, and I groomed myself.
Sure.
I groomed myself. And you know what I did today, Travis?
Oh, boy. I hope this isn't about to get weird.
It's gonna get weird.
All right, let's
I
start
feel
it
like
off
we
right.
gotta get weird before we get into this. Just
The weird news.
The super
sure,
weird
yeah,
news.
yeah, of course.
I noticed my armpit hair was really long.
Oh, I had that on my right armpit.
Just
as well.
your right one is
Just
long?
the right one, yeah. I don't know
See,
what, I was looking,
I
it's like
thought
these are different lengths.
What I was gonna say was weird. That is definitely more weird.
I don't know what happened.
So I trimmed my beard, and then I did my armpit.
Okay.
And now I realize I should not have used the same trimmer.
Oh, yeah.
That's weird.
Sure.
But now I did it, and I immediately regret it because it's all prickly in there now.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to go, like, down
So now
to
I'm
stubble.
very uncomfortable.
Now I'm uncomfortable because you're uncomfortable.
Touch my soft armpit.
I refuse, but now I need to go home and examine my own situation.
You should get that looked out. Maybe something's clogged in your left armpit.
I'm convinced, and I've told my buddy, shout out to Dave DeWitt, editor of Ohio Capital Journal, that when you trim anything, it grows back even longer.
That's what, yeah.
That's what I had always heard.
Yeah.
And then
Goes back with a vengeance.
Yeah, and I think, like, did I ever at one point, like, yank out an armpit hair because it's long?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then it's like, now they're just,
Now they're so angry.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
Well, Charlie Kirk. Anyways.
Speaking of armpit hair.
I didn't want to talk about this. We didn't talk about it on the pod last week on purpose.
Right.
Because it didn't have anything to do with foreign policy. At least at that time.
At that time.
We did not have a connection to bring it to the show and geopolitics.
But we did do the YouTube special, about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Because it was big news.
It was. And we're going to do more of those when there's something that's happening that doesn't necessarily fit within the theme of the show because I respect the show a lot. So does Travis. And we want to make sure we're giving you global issues all the time. And if you want to see our response there, go to our YouTube page. Please subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff. I think our response was, I think it still stands.
I think it still stands. And a lot of, again, the comments, we appreciate everyone saying that, yeah, it was, I think we took a very nuanced, cordial response. Like I said on there, I feel like a soccer referee sometimes when these things happen. And my friends on the left and my friends on the right, everyone's just being way over the top.
Yeah.
And at some point, y'all are going to get yellow cards and red cards. What you put on the internet is permanent, by the way. Don't think that people won't see it. And we're going to get into some of that today.
Well, I think, and just on that, now that we've had like, almost a week since it happened, and we know who the shooter is basically. And I'll say this, internet trolling culture built this shooter. The daily violence abroad and in the U.S. desensitized this guy.
Sure.
And our ability to buy a gun so easily in this country enabled him.
Yeah, sure. Well, his family was also a bunch of gun enthusiasts.
Yeah, but notice how in that, nothing about politics. There's no left or right there. This is about American culture and how we interact with the internet. Because there's not this phenomenon doesn't happen everywhere else in the world.
No.
It's not video games.
No.
If you were on the newsletter, you saw a chart from that showed all these other countries have plenty of video games and a ton of revenue from video games that their youth are playing. They don't have a bunch of violence. So, something to consider. We're talking about Charlie Kirk today because for years, Kirk, the founder of Turning Point USA, was a huge defender of Israel.
Yes.
And publicly, he was huge, a huge defender, and within the Republican Party. And so this year, though, something started to shift, Travis. He began to question the influence of Netanyahu and his allies on American politics. And that's the third rail these days.
Yes.
Especially if you're in the Republican Party.
Right.
And there are people that are close to Kirk, or were close to Kirk, that said there was a lot of turmoil privately between him and Netanyahu and the Israeli government, and even within the Trump administration, that left Kirk isolated and angry, and by his own admission, a little afraid and intimidated by what was happening out there.
Yes.
How did this all happen? I guess is really the question. And we're not going to go through and tell you about the reasonings he was shot here, but I think it's important to talk about the context in which he sits geopolitically.
Sure, and the culture of that entire movement, Turning Point USA.
Exactly. And he started that when he was 18.
I know, he was
in 2012.
Going to college, but then dropped out of college, right?
Yeah.
He started a college group and then dropped out of college.
Exactly. And when he started it, he had huge donations from big Zionist donors, David Horowitz from the Freedom Center and others tied to major neoconservative, systems out there, right? And so he's a big ally of Israel, hammering the Palestinians and pushing back even at that time, pre-Trump, on those more America First. They weren't America First then, but the more U.S. nationalist voices.
Right.
then.
This was the Obama era, basically.
Yeah.
2012 and through 2016.
But this year, Netanyahu personally offered to funnel a massive amount of money to Turning Point USA.
Right. And this is after Trump takes back the White House and everything.
And so Kirk turns it down. And the reason was he started feeling differently about the campaign, which, by the way, as we sit here today, there's a ground invasion of Gaza City by the Israelis, and they're using bulldozers to take down buildings. And, good God, I mean, it's gonna be a mess there.
It's being escalated even more.
Yeah. And so Kirk was he's on the phone with people in the Israeli government. And he's, privately also calling Netanyahu a bully. He hated what he was seeing inside the Trump administration, where allies like billionaire donor Miriam Adelson were dictating decisions at the highest level. And by the way, the Adelsons, right? The Sheldon Adelson, the casino magnate.
Yes, out of Vegas. Yeah, he used to be a big donor to Republicans.
How much do you think her wealth is at?
I'm going to guess and pretend like it's not right in front of me.
Oh, right. You're looking at
I'm looking at it right now. I will. These people are worth billions and billions of dollars from casinos somehow.
$40.5 billion.
And what is that? Where does that rank?
48th richest person in the world, which is so funny that it's only the 48th richest person in the world.
Right. You're down the list, lady. What'd you do?
You're a loser.
Loser.
That's deep.
Get on Elon Musk's level.
Barely top 50.
Right.
There was even a moment apparently in June where Kirk was telling Trump, please do not bomb Iran. Do not bomb the Islamic Republic of Iran for Netanyahu.
Wow.
And Trump flipped out.
This taps back into when we covered that bombing of Iran. And not just Signalgate, right? But the fractures within the Trump administration and the MAGA movement of America First isolationism versus the more neocon. And in this case, as we've learned, and you are highlighting now, doing what Israel wanted.
Yeah.
Israel wanted the U.S. to take out those bunkers in Iran.
Yes. And Trump snapped and kicked him out and was just like, absolutely furious with him. And so that is when apparently Kirk started to believe the U.S. president had fallen under control of a foreign power.
Wow. So that was this summer.
And he started speaking out more and more. And then there was the summit in July where they had Tucker Carlson, Dave Smith, even Megyn Kelly, all being very critical of Israel's actions. And that's when Kirk started getting a ton of pushback and messages, text messages.
And this was also in the post, we're not releasing Epstein list.
Yo, wow, yeah.
That all ties in at the same time. So you have both of these things building within the MAGA movement at the same time. And we all know Tucker Carlson has said publicly that Jeffrey Epstein even had ties to Mossad in Israel.
And Kirk was saying that as well. He was bringing that specific point up, which is, this is wild stuff happening.
Yeah.
The unmooring of the right is very interesting right now. And you even see it today. I think you posted in the channel today about Candace Owens
Candace Owens was basically saying the same thing, that threats were made against Charlie Kirk in a secret Hamptons meeting with billionaire Bill Ackman, another big Republican donor. Of course, my source for this is World Star Hip Hop.
Got it.
So, we're getting a lot of this story from Gray Zone. The Gray Zone did a great write-up of this. Look, you got to take your news with a grain of salt.
I think more than a grain.
Shout out. This is a conspiracy. This isn't even a conspiracy soup. This is a conspiracy stew.
Yes.
Nice and meaty. But like
crazy.
any stew, you got to take it with a grain of salt.
Well, which is where does the conspiracy, right? And we all know people were saying that like Mossad killed Kirk, and it's like there's no evidence of that. But where does that come from? It comes from this rejection of the money.
Yeah.
A rejection of the influence. Now, I want to play a clip from when Charlie Kirk was on Megyn Kelly's show, and there's a few clips here, and it's a little long, but I think it's really important to hear them say in their own words the context and how they feel the pushback has been on them, both two people that were that are still staunch supporters of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
You and I are both supporters of Israel and have defended Israel since the beginning of this conflict and spoken out about the anti-Semitism that has erupted on these college campuses many, 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 many times. And something's happening, though, with this whole debate that is really bothering me, and I wonder if you're feeling it too. So, I genuinely believe you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody in the public eye who's been as outspoken a defender of not every move Israel's taken in the war, but of Israel's right to defend itself and of the just backward awfulness that we've been seeing on college campuses and the backlash against American Jews than yours truly. I mean, I have been at the pointy end of the spear on this, and
I completely agree with that.
And it was all heartfelt, and it remains heartfelt.
Yes.
However, my contention
they always
here
have to
is
have
that
a preamble.
Some in the pro-Israel camp are so knee-jerk about calling you anti-Semitic or getting deeply offended if you say anything that doesn't align with their narrative, that it undermines their own cause. And I have to tell you, I find it very irritating.
Okay, that's a little preamble. I want to go to what Charlie Kirk was talking about a little bit later in the interview, and I played that part because I think it's so important that someone that's such an ally has the same critique that you and I have had, right?
Sure.
Is that we're not anti-Semitic. We're being critical of something that we see with our own eyes, that we're reading about every single day. And let's see, here's Charlie Kirk talking about...
Right? I believe in the scriptural land rights given to
Magical
Israel.
Book of
I
Spells.
believe in fulfillment of prophecy. And
Book of
again,
Spells.
I'm not a theologian, but I'm a Christian. My life was changed in Israel. The spiritual energy is so amazing there. I want them to win. I've said that repeatedly.
Same.
And however, Megyn, you're hitting on something very potent and important. Now, let me first say, I don't want to judge an entire group because there's been many people in the pro-Israel world that have been very sweet, very kind, very nuanced, very Charlie, you're with us. You don't have to agree all the time. However, and I will say this,
however,
the behavior by a lot, both privately and publicly, are pushing people like you and me away. Not like we're going to be pro-Hamas, not like we're going to, but we're like, honestly, the way you are treating me is so repulsive. I have text messages, Megyn, calling me an anti-Semite. I am learning biblical Hebrew and writing a book on the Shabbat. I honor the Shabbat, literally the Jewish Sabbath. I visit Israel and fight for it. And there's another article out in the Times of Israel today. I could read it on air. I was just reading before I got on. Charlie, what are you doing? Like, what am I doing? I'm sorry. Like, let's just take a step back here. Like, I'm an American citizen. Yes, I want Israel to win. Yes, I'm a Christian. But like, some of the mess, and you've seen how I've been treated, Megan, by some, not all, by some.
No, it's very irritating.
It's
been
almost
so
as if
unfair. They were coming after you after a turning point.
Okay. So you guys get the picture now. Okay.
Yeah, he's irritated.
He is irritated. She's irritated.
And he said privately and publicly, which taps in again to what Candace Owens is saying and others.
And again, all this, we're not a conspiracy theory show.
We are on a conspiracy theory network, though.
We are.
But we're also comedy. So, again, conspiracy comedy is a nuanced thing. You approach it with humor and a grain of salt, maybe some paprika in there. And again, you eat the stew slowly. It's a conspiracy stew. Let's dive in.
It is a beefy stew. And all these ingredients that happened before the shooting are insane.
It's really insane how things ramped up this
Talking
summer.
about the Epstein being in Mossad, all the messages, being critical of Israel, all of these things added together.
And then it's interesting, like even what, again, Charlie's own words, and a lot of people have been posting Charlie's own words since all this happened a week ago. But
we do not recommend reposting Charlie's own words.
Yeah, don't do what Cena did and read them verbatim on the YouTube clips so they can be isolated. And then it looks like you said those things. But I'm remiss. Again, but it's like Tucker Carlson saying these things.
Yeah.
But Tucker Carlson didn't get shot last week.
No.
And that's where I'm just like, how did Charlie Kirk end up in this purview?
Well, but I think that's why it's not a conspiracy theory, right? I think that's why Charlie Kirk was incendiary in a different way because it was a meme assassination, right?
Gotcha.
And these young people see him way more in their algorithm than maybe they see Tucker Carlson.
Sure. Right.
And so Tucker Carlson's like a Gen X guy, you know?
Sure. He's not going to college campuses.
No. And I think that is what we're looking at right now. And so that's all to say, there is something to be said about influence and how foreign powers provide influence. And so when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about how countries like Israel influence people and other countries. This happens all over the place. The U.S. does it. Everyone does it.
Right. It's almost like soft power, but for very hard power reasons. That's what we do here.
Yeah.
We say things like that. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the Foreign Report. I'm Cena Gazdavi. Travis Irvine's here. We're talking about influence. Foreign influence.
Influencers.
Influencers, sir.
That's how you get the influence out there, through influencers.
That's absolutely right. Different centers of it. Micro-influencers, macro-influencers.
That's why I wear this hat.
Because you are a...
influential. I wouldn't call me an influencer.
So, again, I want to reiterate, there's no evidence that Mossad killed Charlie Kirk, okay?
Right, we're not saying that here.
That's, like, crazy. However, I think it's really...
You just did a however. Okay, Megyn Kelly, go on.
Wow, you're so right, man. But it's like, I just... Again,
hold on, I'm getting a call from Mossad right now. Hold on. No, I'll make sure he doesn't say anything else. Okay.
I am curious. I'm foreign policy curious.
Right.
And I'm curious about all these things. And it really brought up to me the bigger question of, like, where would Kirk's shift on Israel have taken the conservative movement if he had lived? He was like a very prominent voice among young Republicans.
He was an influencer.
Yeah. And like, what would Charlie have influenced more young Republicans to be more critical of Israel? And then on top of that, how do these countries actually do the influence? Like, when the money was going to go to Turning Point USA, what are the terms?
What are the strings attached?
What are the strings attached? And you know, you probably saw this 1630 fund through Chorus that was like pumping money to Democratic influencers and podcasters. Did you see this? Taylor Lorenz wrote this article.
Right. There's just so many political movements really are getting their their thoughts and points out there through podcasts.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, hold on, I'm getting a call from 1630 Fund right now. Oh, wait, no, wrong number.
Yeah. They didn't call us.
They didn't
call us.
No.
90 influencers got up to $8,000 per month, apparently.
Come on.
Hey, it's because we're in the manosphere.
We're in the manosphere. No one cares about us and our biceps.
Don't show your biceps,
Okay,
T-ceps.
sorry.
It's intimidating.
I can see your armpit hair, though.
Lack thereof. This also reminded me of this story in 2021. There was this Harvard scholar from Iran. He was like a U.S. resident, a PhD, Kaveh Afrasiabi, and he was charged in January of 21 for acting and conspiring to act as an unregistered agent of the Iranian government in violation of the Foreign Agents Registration Act.
Interesting, right? There are rules to this.
There are rules. He was supposed to register as a foreign agent. Why? Because the Islamic Republic of Iran was paying him over $200,000 to write articles, books, contact U.S. officials, give advice to diplomats, all without being a foreign agent.
I was going to say, that sounds like very much a foreign agent.
Yeah, those are foreign agent moves.
Foreign agent responsibilities right there.
Yeah.
And you're getting paid to do it.
Yes.
So I feel like that is the line. If you're getting paid to act on behalf of a foreign government, you are a foreign agent. You got to register. This isn't Smokey. There are rules.
There are rules to this stuff. And I like how our country's like, you can influence.
You can influence.
We just got to know who you're influencing for.
Please.
Isn't that weird, though? Like, I guess we want to know. We want to know.
It's transparent on, like, the thinnest level.
The thinnest level. So that guy actually was facing 10 years. And then you know what effing happened to that guy?
Oh, boy. I have a feeling you're going to tell me.
In September of 23, he got a presidential pardon from Joe Biden as part of a U.S.-Iran prisoner exchange mediated by Qatar.
Oh, in Qatar, we know they've big old foreign agents. We'll give you a plane. What else do you want?
I know. So, I mean, Travis, it's like it's all over the place. Russia's done it for years. It's like tradition. For Russia, China, the United States, the UK, obviously the Islamic Republic of Iran, and Israel. And I think the thing that kept coming up for me is like, why is this happening so much? Why are we seeing it?
Right.
It's because we live in the information age, and the battlefield is your mind. Okay?
Wow. Again, soft power for hard power purposes.
Yeah, my brain's getting hard powered.
And it's like, and I think you're highlighting this, but it's like, why is this legal? And it's because everyone does it.
Everyone does it.
Even if there are rules, they're going to do it in some subverting way anyway. Like 2016 with the Facebook ads.
And it's tough to police. It's fake accounts on social media, fake news sites, actual fake news sites, AI-generated slop content.
But just last year, 2024, a bunch of the podcasts in the manosphere were getting big money from to promote certain views as well.
Sometimes I think, if you get the money from, let's say, a Russian guy, and you're already talking positively about Russia, you're not going to stop.
Sure.
You're not going to all of a sudden just start being critical.
But the money does change the equation.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, I don't even think, in some of these cases, I don't necessarily think the money came in and they were like, say this.
Right.
I think they were like, don't say the other thing.
Yeah. Just keep saying what you were saying. Also, here's a check.
And so when it comes to Israel, though, and that's kind of like the context of what we're talking about today, there were a few things that have happened in the last couple of years. So, right, in June 2024, Israel's Ministry of Diaspora Affairs paid an Israeli firm called Stoic $2 million. Their mission, run social media campaigns targeting Americans, especially lawmakers and young progressives.
Wow, nothing's more stoic than that.
And I'm not talking about the targeted ads that are on this YouTube show.
Wait, what?
I got a call from a friend that was like, hey, Netanyahu is doing targeted ads on your show. I thought you guys were playing a clip, but it was just Netanyahu saying why they're bombing Iran.
Are you serious, man?
Yeah, and so I was like,
no.
guys, I have like little to no control over the programmatic ads that get served on this show.
That's great.
Don't worry, we're not gonna do a live read for any foreign power on this show.
Why not? Let's get that money, baby.
But by the way, that is like level 1 stuff. That's technically very transparent.
Sure. We know who's doing that ad. It's him. He's in the ad.
They saw like the keywords that are in our show, and then boom, they did it.
Cool.
But this, they created hundreds of fake accounts on X, Facebook, Instagram, entire fake news sites with names like Non-Agenda and Unfold Magazine.
So you're telling me they have no agenda and it's not a real magazine?
Nope.
Cool.
And here's the kicker. It wasn't just targeting the good people that watch our show. The campaign, this one specifically, zeroed in on black Democratic lawmakers and progressive activists.
Why would they do that?
You trying to win them over, right?
Wow.
And so once this was exposed, Meta and OpenAI actually confirmed the links to Stoic and shut down the accounts. And just a quick aside, like the LLMs, like the chat bots, when you search for something in there are ways to game those just like people that are doing search engine optimization. So something to keep in mind, folks, is that that's another whole thing. And like you could just structure your website in a way that lends itself to an AI crawler to come and pull information from it. And so whereas Google was like, yeah, you got to have backlinks, you got to have other people linking back to you and stuff like that, the LLMs work way differently.
Poof, this is like a big tech corner of the foreign policy manosphere.
Love it. Get into it.
Get in there.
Here's another thing that they did. UNRWA. Remember all the UNRWA stuff?
No.
All the news about the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, that they were part of Hamas.
Oh, that's right.
They were part of Hamas. They were part of October 7th. All this stuff. Since late 2024, Israel has been paying for Google and YouTube ads that smear UNRWA. We're talking about ads that claim the agency is tied to terrorism, claims humanitarian organizations say are false. Here's another thing. There's a case that just got dismissed last month.
Whoa.
Where a charity that was helping to fund UNRWA was being sued to try to strip them of their status because they were saying this charity was funding a terrorist organization.
Yikes.
And you know what that judge did?
What do you do?
He threw out the case.
Oh, all right.
Because they did not have a leg to stand on.
Okay. Or he's getting funded by UNRWA.
Oh, God. He's Hamas. That judge is Hamas.
Man.
So, again, and then Israel's also done these influencer tours where they, like Haaretz reported on this in July of 2025. Israel's foreign ministry was funding a tour for MAGA and America First influencers.
Wow.
Isn't that special?
It's very timely as well.
They brought them to Israel. They gave them a nice, all expenses paid trip to a very curated experience of not ethnic cleansing.
Right.
So this is like among the things that they've been doing. So what do we see as like happening here? Israel uses this to justify military actions. They help create negative perceptions on their opponents. They obviously spread disinformation. They shift blame around. They have targeted messaging of specific groups. So they'll speak one way to black lawmakers through digital campaigns and another way through Canadian Muslims, let's say.
Wow.
And so they can very savvily navigate the digital sphere, again, the battlefield of your mind, to influence and change opinions.
That's wild.
And so, again, we've talked about this. Fake news sites, AI-generated slop content. It's all over the place. So this is crazy.
Yeah,
and
again, we always say foreign policy is domestic policy, vice versa. You got to convince the domestic public to do your foreign policy bidding.
Yes. And so I think it's something we all have to figure out how to deal with. I feel like the younger generation might actually be savvier than the old Gen Xers and us old millennials.
Maybe.
Because we get fooled all the time.
Yeah, we do. Hold on, I'm getting a call from Benjamin Yahoo right now.
By the way, though,
Hello.
because we're video producers, we know this, that response from Trump after the Kirk murder, where he was at his desk talking about his campaign, everyone said that was AI and stuff like that. Those are all morph cuts. So if you know what a morph cut is, you can look it up. Basically, it's where they take two pieces of video and they use AI to blend them together. So it wasn't AI generated, but AI edited so that the edits look better together. So another little piece of info for people.
That's good. I like our tech corners that we're working into
know.
the foreign policy manosphere.
You know, I'm going to be on Nerd of Mouth later this week, and so I'm all tech
You might as well get into it.
jazzed up. All right, so that's my whole thing on that. The idea here is that, again, Mossad did not kill Kirk from everything we could see.
Sure.
But the ingredients of that conspiracy theory are out there because there are seeds of truth.
The conspiracy stew.
The stew.
It's a meaty stew.
There's a beef stock in that stew that's real.
I mean, I don't want to speculate.
Yeah,
But you just jumped into a lot of tech stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, how do we know this shooter guy wasn't influenced by a bunch of messaging as well?
Thank you. Exactly. So I think I said that on our YouTube only response about Kirk is that
everyone should check out.
Everyone should check out. But the thing is, I think that's so easily done these days because also people aren't in public chat rooms. It's not even like message boards like 4chan or 8chan or something awful anymore. It's private Discord servers.
Yeah.
And so that's where you could really influence people, which, by the way, I wanted to make a Discord server for this show eventually, and I feel weird about it now.
How about we just not? Sign up for our newsletter. That's way more transparent.
Sign up for the newsletter. Maybe we'll find another way. I'm not making a Facebook group. Don't ask me.
No. Yeah, look, there's a lot of foreign powers. Like we said, everyone's doing it. And it's just, again, in terms of this conspiracy stew around Charlie Kirk's death, it is just like there's a lot of money being shifted around in terms of opinions. And it's like as his opinion changed this summer, you could argue money wasn't going to start coming his way.
All right, moving on, Travis. In a comment that I didn't read, someone asked about a good news segment.
Oh, good. Yeah. We do need good news. I think I was the one who typed that comment into the comment. Sometimes I comment on the other comments. And yeah, I need some good news. If you could just give me some good news.
Okay, so our first piece of good news is that Germany's Alternative for Germany, the AfD party, scored a major gain in Sunday's municipal elections in the country's most populous states, even as Chancellor Friedrich Merz, conservative, finished first in the polls, a result that analysts say underscores the far-right party's growing popularity.
Wait, that's not good news at all.
Oh, God.
You lied.
Oh, my God, I'm sorry.
You lied to me, FP Zaddy. What happened? That's not good news. You're saying a post-Nazi party, a neo-Nazi party did well in Germany's most recent elections.
The surge continued despite Germany's domestic intelligence agency initially classifying the party as a right-wing extremist organization, but later suspended the designation after the AfD challenged it in court. Imagine everyone in America saying David Duke is in the Klan, and then David Duke going to court and be like, I'm not really in the Klan. And the court's like, all right, fine.
Cool. Hey, you heard him. He said he's not that. All right. This is crazy. This taps back into what we were talking about way back in like February and March.
Yeah, man.
When J.D. Vance, who we're going to get to in a second, he went over there and was like, you guys need to be nicer to the AfD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? It's
Don't
like,
call them Nazis.
come on.
They're just far right.
All right, so now some actual good news.
What?
It's fun.
I don't believe you.
I was looking for good news.
Oh, here's Cena's version of good news. Only 70 people were killed in Bahrain instead of 700. Thank you. Also, where is Bahrain?
I mean, it's just, I was looking for good news, and I tell you, it is.
When it Bahrains, it pours.
It's really not. It's really not out there.
Okay.
All right.
Well, what'd you find?
I did find.
Give me anything, honestly.
I did find a little
You're
bit.
literally going to give me anything, aren't you?
I am going to give you.
No.
You're going to like this one.
I better.
A Swedish-American pole vaulter broke the record for the 14th time, and it's the 4th time he did it this year. Mondo Duplantis.
Perfectly good Swedish name.
Yes, check out this pole vaulter. By the way, I tried to be a pole vaulter in high school and failed. Note to self. Note to everybody.
I did some things with my pole.
All right. Let's watch this man pole vault. Look at this. Look at this.
On their feet. They're
Wow.
He's
Is it his fourth
Whoa!
of the year?
Whoa!
Look at that.
Flawless.
You got to see the slow-mo.
Flawless pole vault.
Flawless. 4th time this year.
This is, can we just be a foreign sports show?
Yeah.
He's held
4th time.
That's wild. Look at him go. Whoa.
Oh, my God. And I really want to do the pole vault because I thought it'd be so fun to fall from that high and you get on the pads.
Yeah, the nice soft landing.
Look at that.
He does.
So this is like Olympic qualifying?
Look at that.
Oh, this guy's gonna, whoa, flawless.
Just,
What? He's like water. He's like water. Swedish water, we call
He's a
him.
world record
Wowie
and
wow.
kissing the
Oh,
wife.
there he is. Now he's getting some smooches. Well,
we can't show that.
She's
the
gonna
censors,
she's
the
gonna
censors.
vault his poll later.
Yeah.
I think
Oh
right
my
there. Come
God.
on, folks.
So that's the good news.
That actually was good news. And can we just do sports segment every week,
I
please?
think we should do a little bit.
You know
of-
me. I've World Cup qualifying's happening. We got the World Cup in
Hey.
LA next year. I can bring soccer clips
Let's do
for a
that.
lighthearted segment.
I'm telling you, sports may be the only good news we are able to show.
In terms of foreign news,
it's global.
yeah, okay, great, good for the Swedes, man.
Yeah.
They really got it going on.
Folks, we're going to take another break. I hope everything is being communicated clearly.
I do too. I'm going to leave it up to our editor
And also,
to make sure.
let us know how you feel about this conspiracy theory in the comments. I'm actually really interested.
Conspiracy stew.
The
here,
stew.
Here we call it
A stew.
conspiracy stew.
A
Because it's
theory-
meaty, but you take it with a grain of salt.
I see. So a theory would be like more tangible, right?
Yeah. We don't know what. I mean, look,
We don't know
my
what's
source, the Gray Zone is very reputable. And then there's World Star Hip Hop. And those are the two clips I posted into our Slack chat. And I was like, well, what do we think? And now here we are. It is fun, though. When World Star Hip Hop and Gray Zone are both covering the same story, that's when you know.
That Venn diagram is insane.
And there I am, right there.
We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the Foreign Report. I'm Cedar Gatsby, Travis Irvine. Wow, beefy show today. We talked a lot about influence, foreign powers of influence, how that related to Charlie Kirk's murder. We talked about some good news in a pole vaulter and some awful news that is good for the right-wing extremists in Germany.
Yeah, we can cover everything on this show.
Yeah, we do. We do. All
Well,
right. JD Vance corner time.
Here we go. Ba-da-ba-dum. Give him a
J-
chance. He's JD Vance. No, wait, he sucks. And this taps into everything we've been talking about today, but also everything America has been talking about for the last week. So, JD Vance, the current vice president of the United States, Cena,
Okay. Thanks for
decided
reminding me.
to fill in as the host of Charlie Kirk's show.
You know, I was a fill-in host for a while at Sirius XM.
Well,
And I hate that we now had the same job. You know, you went to, from the same state. Now we have the same job.
yeah, exactly. And I think no matter if you're on the left or the right, I think everyone can agree this is the only host you could get that is way worse for everyone in terms
Awful.
of a host. But I also want to highlight that this is all JD Vance should have ever been, a podcast host. He wrote the book. And then he was a media darling talking about conservative talking points. He should have never jumped ship into the world of politics and ever been elected.
Wouldn't that have just diminished us as podcast hosts as well? I was at
No, it would have flipped. Then we would have been vice presidents.
Yeah.
That's what I'm like.
Man. Yeah. I mean, quick story.
Yeah, please.
I was at I was at a little dad hang at the bar this weekend.
Zaddy hang.
A zaddy hang.
You're the
and
only FP one there, though.
I am the only FP zaddy, but there are some zaddies. But I'm like sitting there, and this absolutely drunk maniac comes over. He's wearing a Rams jersey, and he
Sorry.
starts just talking.
Oh, it wasn't
to
me.
us.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
He
starts-
wasn't wearing a Cleveland Browns jersey.
No, he starts talking to us, and then he goes, I have a podcast where I talk about labor disputes. And I was like, and everyone at the table starts looking at me. And I was like, I'm quitting my show. I'm
Let's
never
book him
doing
as a guest. You didn't book him as a guest
No, I
immediately?
didn't book him as a guest.
Come
He
on.
got upset that I wasn't into his takes. Anyways, I'm sorry. I just had to say that.
You're disputing
Terrible
his
story.
take on labor.
Yeah,
it sounds
exactly.
like. Well, speaking of other zaddies having podcasts, now
Yeah.
JD Vance has one, and he filled in a Charlie Kirk show, and it went about how you would expect. JD Vance, the second most powerful person in the executive branch of government, arguably the vice president of the United States, basically went ahead, and it was like over 2.5 hour show where he had a lot of different guests, but came down to saying that we need to dismantle left-wing extremist networks.
Okay.
Now, again, this is after someone's already been apprehended. Now, the show started out innocently enough, right? J.D. Vance was paying tribute to Charlie, saying he was a joyful warrior for our country. And he said he didn't think he was alone in saying that Charlie was one of the smartest political operatives he ever met. You know, it was a tribute in a lot of ways to Charlie on Charlie Kirk's show, right? And again, lots and lots of guests. But eventually, and this is where, this keeps happening, right? In the same way we were talking about in our YouTube-only special, some leftists are a little too gleeful about the whole Charlie Kirk murder. The right is just immediately blaming left-wing ideology, extremism, whatever that means to them And to us in the middle, I'm just like, what we know about this Tyler Robinson guy is that he comes from a conservative law enforcement family in Utah, right? A gun enthusiast family. And it's like, I just don't understand how he was influenced by a left-wing ideology. But that is exactly where J.D. Vance and some of his guests, including, human worm, Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller, this is where their brains are going. They're blaming the left. And if you could play real quick a clip from Stephen Miller on this show, again, there's a way to pay tribute to someone, and you can do that, but then to immediately turn it into a calling against a whole group of people who I would argue didn't have anything to do with Charlie Kirk's killing, this left-wing ideology, quote unquote. Could you play this clip in terms of what Stephen Miller was saying?
We are going to channel all of the anger that we have over the organized campaign that led to this assassination to uproot and dismantle these terrorist networks. It is a vast domestic terror movement. And with God as my witness,
he's talking about ISIS?
we are going to use every resource we have at the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, and throughout this government to identify, disrupt, dismantle, and destroy these networks and make America safe again for the American people. It will happen, and we will do it in Charlie's name.
He's talking about Al-Qaeda.
He's talking about the left wing.
He's talking about a guy with a sleeve tattoo that was that wants like free busing in New York.
Exactly. He is talking about left-wing ideology. And this is despite the fact that literally back in June, we had Democratic lawmakers in Minnesota. One got assassinated, one was almost killed. Back in April, Democratic Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's residence was attacked by an arsonist.
Yeah.
And these were, again, MAGA-motivated actions, basically. So
the whitewashing of all this is so insane, and how if you look at the FBI, any sort of study of any group, political, apolitical, or government agency, the numbers don't lie. It's not even like estimated statistics.
Right.
It is like 70% of these shootings are right-wing extremists. Chris Wray from the FBI, last FBI director, on his way out, said this is the biggest threat to America, right-wing extremism.
And as Stephen Miller highlighted, he's now in charge of this apparatus, right? This apparati with Kash Patel and everything, and yet they still don't seem to understand those facts that you just pointed out, in addition to the fact that they're not just even whitewashing. This is like gaslighting on a whole nother level.
Oh, yeah.
So let's play J.D. Vance's closing thought, and this is, Jerry Springer was from Cincinnati, Ohio as well, and this disgraces Jerry Springer's legacy.
Okay.
This is not even worthy of final thought. There's a 13-minute clip on J.D. Vance's
Well, I'm glad we're not
X
showing
account.
that.
We're not showing that. I'm going to show you the shortened minute and a half here.
92 seconds.
Let's see if we can survive.
are
Let's see how
sorry.
long we last.
Yeah, let's see if we
This
can
is
do
J.D. Vance closing out, filling in Charlie Kirk's
I'm going to try
show.
to hold my breath.
Good luck.
So when you see someone celebrating Charlie's murder, call them out. And hell, call their employer. We don't believe in political violence, but we do believe in civility. And there is no civility in the celebration of political assassination. Get involved. Get involved. Get involved. It's the best way to honor Charlie's legacy. Start a chapter of TPUSA or get involved in the one that already exists. If you're older, volunteer for your local party, write an op-ed in your local paper, run for office. I can't promise you this is going to be easy. I can't promise you that all of us will avoid Charlie's fate. I can't promise you that I will avoid Charlie's fate. But the best way to honor him is to shine the light of truth like a torch in the very
J.D. Vance is
darkest places.
dreaming
Go
of right
do
now.
it. We owe it to our friend to ensure that his killer is not just prosecuted but punished. And the worst punishment is not the death penalty, but the knowledge that Charlie's mission continues after he's gone. St. Paul tells us in the book of Ephesians to put on the full armor of God. Let all of us put on that armor and commit ourselves to that cause for which Charlie gave his life, to rebuild a united States of America. And to
You're doing a great job, buddy.
very
Very
united.
united.
Very united.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Wow.
Is H. St. Paul.
Wow.
This is what I'm saying. This is what J.D. Vance does, right?
Oh, my God.
The gaslighting. It's just the flips of the terms. Like, Go get your friends fired for posting anything
Yeah.
negative about Charlie. Also, we got in the name of Christ and St. Paul, let's unite this country because that's what Charlie would have wanted.
And John Fugel saying when he was on the show, talked all about how these people are not following the teachings.
They're not
of Christ.
pious, dude.
They're not in the least.
And and I just want to highlight a few things specifically in terms of the hypocrisy of that 2.5 hour. Please don't go listen to the 2.5 hour thing. If you want to watch JD Vance's first final 13 minutes and you can handle it, I could barely handle it. That's all I could handle was 1.5 minutes, and even that was hard. You were holding your breath, but then I watched you almost threw up in your mouth. And here's the thing, like,
well, when he was like, "I'm gonna get shot,"
I'm going to get shot.
just what a loser.
It's
Go
just
ahead.
like
no one wants to even shoot you, bro.
it's not worth it. Man,
It's not
honestly.
even.
It's not
By the
even
way,
worth it.
the whole thing with the shooter is that he got the governor of Utah to say, "If you're reading this, you're gay."
Right.
LMAO. Like you don't understand the internet. You let him win. His troll buddies are all laughing.
This is Trollville. We are literally living in Trollville. So
sorry,
in
go
that
ahead.
vein, no, speaking of trolls, you heard what JD Vance was saying there, right? Charlie Kirk was about debate and First Amendment.
Yeah.
Go say anything. So in that theory, that means if you want to say something negative about Charlie Kirk or his death on your internet, again, it lasts forever, but you're allowed to say that.
Yeah.
JD Vance is saying, no, go report those people to their employers and get them fired. And that's literally what's happening now in my home state and JD Vance's home state of Ohio, is that people are reporting.
What?
Yes, they are reporting people to their employers trying to get them fired. My friend Rachel Coyle of Ohioans Against Extremism is being targeted online because all she said was, look, condemning violence makes sense, but she also said it is deeply disturbing to see so many people treating one of America's loudest and most damaging white supremacists as a respected public figure. Because she said that, people are calling for her head. They're sending her death threats.
I mean, respectfully, Nick Fuentes didn't think he was white supremacist enough.
There you go. And that's kind of right. Again, the MAGA sphere, and for them to blame the left when it's really like, hey, dude, check out your own house.
Yeah.
Like that, I think it's a disservice to themselves, to their own movement, to not check themselves, as opposed to just, again, gaslighting and projecting things on a quote-unquote leftist ideology. It goes beyond that. I mean, we've got a city council person who had to resign because he posted a negative thing of Charlie Kirk. There's a city councilman in Fair Park, Ohio. And now also, in terms of hypocrisy, right, we've got Ohio politicians saying that we need to have stiffer penalties for political violence. Now, no one likes political violence.
Sure.
Right? We mentioned the lawmakers, the Democratic lawmakers in Minnesota. But again, in terms of the hypocrisy, Cena, which political party has been calling for Second Amendment rights? And there's a certain activist, I think, also calling for Second Amendment rights.
Yeah.
Not for hunting, but for opposing a tyrannical government.
Yeah.
Which political party was that?
Was it the Green Party?
Yeah, man, those guys are funny. They're ironic and fun, and they love recycling, which I do appreciate.
Yeah, it's the Republicans.
It's the Republicans.
Yeah.
And now Republican lawmakers, it is, in typically even in state governments, you want a bipartisan legislation. One Republican, one Democrat. We have 2 Republicans, no Democrats, sponsoring this new law in Ohio that would just basically ratchet up penalties for any political violence. And again, it's like, yeah, that's good, but that's not everything you've been saying for
I
the
can't
last
wait to read that
20,
bill
30
that
years.
is all about radical leftist ideology.
And that's exactly how they're going to
criminalizing that.
pitch it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Not the other way around. And the last thing is just, again, in terms of using your own words against your own words that you said previous. Because honestly, in the wake of Charlie Kirk's death, that's the thing that really gets me, is that he said so many things that created the culture in which he existed and now the culture in which he has been assassinated. So another unqualified United States Senator from the state of Ohio, who we've actually brought up on this show before, this guy named Bernie Moreno. He's a car salesman in Cleveland, multimillionaire, bought his way into a United States Senate seat. He made an impassioned 13-minute speech. Everyone's about 13-minute speeches right now about how the Charlie Kirk assassination really points to the fact that we should not be calling each other Nazis, right? He said on the floor of the United States Senate, he said, I think it's fair to say that Hitler and Nazis should have a special dark place in history and not be compared with anyone or anything. Because when you do that, you're inviting people, crazy people to take actions in their own hands, like what we saw tragically in Utah. End quote. So that's Moreno. That's Moreno this past week since Charlie Kirk was killed. You want to know what Moreno said back in April? He compared my old boss, Chuck Schumer, who is Jewish, to being a Führer of the Democrats.
Oh,
yeah,
my
man.
God.
You can't make this stuff up. At the time, Moreno said something quite different. He said Republicans are independently minded. Democrats are monolithic sheep that follow the Führer Schumer's orders.
It's so crazy.
And he's calling a Jewish guy that, one of the most highest ranking Jewish officials.
But also, we're not monolithic. I wish we were monolithic.
Right.
It'd be great if we were monolithic.
Exactly. So anyway, it's just, again, I'm just in the wake of this whole Charlie Kirk thing. It would be nice in terms of especially J.D. Vance going out there and calling for assassinations and I don't even know what else.
Yeah.
He called for an assassination on himself, basically.
Oh, my God.
And reporting people to their employers and getting them fired. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense, but that's the world that we live in. And J.D. Vance is now in charge of it, everyone. So congratulations.
Is he still going to be hosting the show every day or like what?
God, I hope not.
Oh, God.
I mean, you know.
I hope he
think-
takes calls. Anyways.
Oh, let's call in.
Let's call in.
I wonder who the ads are on that show.
Folks, fun show, I guess.
Meaty. Meaty conspiracy stew.
Oh, my
Take it with a grain of salt and maybe some paprika.
Everything. Put it all in there. Avoid the chili powder too much. I'm Cena Gadsby. Travis Irvine. Listen, YouTube. Like us. Give us a rating on the Apple Podcasts. I love not seeing the comments on Spotify and YouTube. And yes, I don't read them.
It's great. And I just want to plug real quick.
Oh, yes.
I am doing a screening of my documentaries, American Mayor and How America Killed My Mother. That's the movie I made with Ed Larson here at Last Podcast Network. We are screening those on Sunday, September 21st. At the Drexel Theater in my hometown of Bexley, Ohio. It's actually my hometown theater.
Amazing.
So this is a way I feel, in terms of constructive conversations, to just highlight the importance of running for office yourself. All politics is local. That's where it starts, and then it moves up from there. So if you are in Columbus, Ohio, Central Ohio region, Sunday, September 21st, please join us 7 p.m. at the Drexel Theater for some movies.
Amazing.
And
check it out, folks.
hopefully some laughs along the way.
That's all we do here. Laughs along the way.
Hopefully.
Sign up for the newsletter, foreignreportshow.com. Again, follow us on all the socials. Again, be safe out there. We love you guys. Yeah. See you next time.